this afternoon the Demons fans can go home and sing as loud as they want, because today they beat the Blues.
Right now, the moment is all Melbourne. The Demons win for the first time in 2014. It is a huge upset at the MCG.
The Melbourne Footy Club have beaten Carlton and opened up the biggest can of worms you've ever seen.
Credit to the boys, we fought it out and got the result, mate, so it's good to get a W, mate.
Look, that's all we've wanted for the boys all year, and that's what we've spoken about. If you can get 22 blokes play their role, and we had that today. Look, guys stood up all over the field, but we did the basics well, and yeah, it's exciting when we play like that.
Mark it down, round 4, 2014. Paul Roos has his first win as coach.
This is a little like a premiership.
Like a grand final, Jim. It's like a premiership. You got tears in the crowd, genuine tears.
Yes, you're thinking exactly what we're thinking. He didn't know the words.
Can I say, it's the old Beverly Hills theme song.
That's rubbish.
It is.
Did you see yourself?
No, there's two different lines in the words. I'm singing the Beverly Hills theme song.
Why not sing the Melbourne Football Club theme song?
Yeah, I've got to get those words changed.
Yeah, you got to get the words changed.
That's embarrassing. There he goes.
I was just glad I got a chance to sing it, brother.
Do you buy that excuse?
No.
I tell you, ring up someone from Beverly Hills. Ring in tonight, okay? And the words are slight. I'm singing the Beverly Hills song. I apologise to Melbourne supporters. Next week
You played footy in Beverly Hills?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah. Out in
The Melbourne Beverly Hills.
Bomber, welcome, Roosie. Great to have you here.
Jared?
What's a win worth, Paul? Boil it right down to its essence. What's it worth?
Look, it's hard to assess, absolutely, but certainly for the club and for the supporters and everyone, it's worth a lot. You know, there's no doubt about that. We think we've been playing reasonably well, but you've got to have a win. You've got to have, something to look forward to. You've got to have something to celebrate, and it keeps a club like Melbourne, going forward in what's been a really tough period.
So you, Robbo, spent the afternoon in the members?
Yes,
so there
bottom
were people
deck.
around you. It was impossible not to look around and watch.
Oh, it was
fans.
great.
My sure thing for the year took 4 weeks to arrive, but smiling Melbourne fans, it was great. It was reassuring. I think people might have even sent in their images for you, Brucey, to share on Twitter. Just the joy that it brings in the stands.
Can I ask you, coaches, in that cut and thrust, do you forget about the fans? You must during the game. But when you see it like this, you must actually get back to being a kid again and what football means to you. Is that fair enough comment or not?
I don't think of them during the match, but certainly after the match, you just share their excitement.
You speak about the fans in every press conference.
Yep.
Every press conference. It's us, it's we. You got criticised for saying I a bit in the first one, but now I reckon you're really... Don't take this wrong. I reckon you're really embracing it. It's got nothing to do with the win. You've really embraced
you can't help. I mean, all the emails you get, the letters you get, the fans that turn up to training. I mean, I carry, even though I've only been there for 7 weeks from a coaching point of view, you carry the last 4 or 5 years. It's hard not to because, and I have to try and put that aside, but it's hard. You can't. You carry the 2 wins from last year and the X amount of wins before that.
You've got to deal with all of it,
you deal with it. It's hard, and that's probably the worst part of the job because you want to get on with it and you want to just deal with the here and the now, but you know what the fans have gone through. So to see them after the game and the players after the game and the people in the rooms after the game, it's fantastic.
The players was an interesting part to it. Jack Grimes didn't play in last year's round 14 win, so it had been a full year, round 4 last year since last he played. And I did ask him yesterday on radio what the difference was like waking up to a morning in victory instead of what he's known for so long, defeat.
It is crazy to think. A lot of us are talking about it this morning. We sort of thought, like, how good would footy be if you could experience this every week? And because you walk, it's like after a loss, recovery's pretty quiet. Not many guys speak a whole lot. There's not much laughing or joking going on. Everyone sort of feels a lot more sore, obviously, after a loss. But this morning there were a lot of smiles and just a lot of happy faces and guys sort of saying they're not feeling as sore. It's amazing how that happens after a win.
How good would it be if footy was like that every week? There are some players.
Joel
just ask Travis Varco. He's lost 10 in his career out of 120 or something, hasn't he?
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
And I think sometimes players take it for granted. It's hard not to. If you're winning all the time, there's that expectation, and winning drives winning too. I mean, I'm sure the Geelong boys, Bomber, they feed off the wins, and that's the opposite when you're a Melbourne Football Club. You do get flat, and it's great to hear Grimes talking about waking up, enjoying Sunday morning.
Do you hate losing? Because you just won a majority of things when you played and probably when you coached. Well, now just having to lose more often.
You've got to. I don't want to say you have a different mindset, but you just have a different understanding of where the club's at. Yeah. But you still, it's hard to accept. No, you don't like losing. So the 24 hours afterwards, and then you analyse the game and you make sure you give the right direction to the players. But no one likes losing.
I need to ask you just very quickly about the bookings, and includes Chris Dawes, but it's not only Chris Dawes. James Frawley, and there's a story, I wrote it last week, about money and free agency, which would have put a lot of pressure on him. And up the other end, a young fellow, he's not a young fellow, Tom McDonald, I thought played his best football for Melbourne. People were critical of you ran around, lots of possessions, How different was it having Dawes and Frawley competing in the forward line? How much did that change the mindset of the players in the midfield?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, I think from a possession point of view, Carlton had more possessions than us, and we would have loved to have those boys up there, particularly Dawsey, in the first 2 or 3 weeks, but it just wasn't possible. So how much did it affect the players, when they were coming through the midfield against the Eagles and the Saints? I would say a fair bit, because we saw what we wanted to do on the weekend. Big target up there, Dawes. The 2 goals that he kicked were critical.
That third quarter goal was monstrous for the
goal.
game.
Yeah,
monstrous. 55 from 10 to 16 points up.
Is that a true story? He rang you up? And
he did.
And just he wanted to play.
Look, I would have said at the start of the week he was no chance to play. He rang me up and said, look, I'm really keen. Prior to training on Friday, I thought maybe not. He trained absolutely fantastically on Friday. But it was just his enthusiasm. He wanted to be out there and he wanted to play, and he really drives the group because he's come from a successful club and he's just a terrific person. So it's great, great reward for him, a couple of goals.
He'd want to have played well. If you were ringing up to say, I want to play...
Take your phone off the hook this week.
No, but the expectations, and I said this to him, my expectations weren't for him to play well, but just to have him up there, and I think we saw that, and it helped, obviously, Chip Frawley and it helped Dunny. I mean, Dunny's played really well also, so it helps those boys, when you've got a big power forward like Dawsey. He's a great organiser as well.
That's what we had. We had no one to kick to on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Just end up just kicking it up the tree.
When did you start getting frustrated in the game?
When I walked off the plane and had to put the sunscreen on.
How much of it?
33 degrees.
You're going to be accused of making excuses if you talk about that. But seriously, how much of an issue is it? Because we know there was an issue with the Western Bulldogs in round 1 at 34 degrees, and now we're going 4 weeks later, 33 degrees.
I was thinking during the game, what should we do to make sure that if we don't win this game, that we actually recover okay to beat part of the next.
So during the game, you're already thinking about the next week?
Yeah.
So what did you do? Did you rest players? Did you take players off?
We rested some, we just rotated them on the ground a bit more and just tried to survive, really, get through the day.
Can I ask you, is it an issue, Rizzy?
For Melbourne-based teams, I think this picture I remember seeing a three-quarter time bomber, and I think you guys all had the ice vest on and you went over the Freo huddle, and they're just used to it. I mean, that's just the way it is, and is an advantage for Freo and West Coast? Absolutely, but good luck. every second week they have to travel 5 hours to come across. So I think on balance, if they get some advantage with the heat, well, so be it, because they've got a lot of travelling to do.
Just unfortunate it was us, I suppose.
Yeah.
An awful lot went wrong, and Goddard in the warm-up was something that went wrong. Well, how did you manage that, and why did you decide to...
I didn't know he came off in the warm-up. But he went off and he's had this thing about 5 times in his career, he said. It just comes on and he knows how to get rid of it and he gets rid of it really quickly, but while it's there, it's quite painful. It's just like a nervy sort of pain deep in his groin, and
couldn't get rid of it.
He could not get going. Yeah.
Were you keeping him on just for rotations, just trying to, like early in the game I noticed he was sort of going on and off and on
we had
and off.
Another guy had a knock, and when he gets a knock, sometimes he gets migraines.
Right.
So that was our fear, because if someone had a migraine, then it would be down...
Well, he can't play in heat with him.
Well, Yeah.
Well, you would have had to if
yeah, we're just trying to work out whether we could get him up or not.
Yeah.
And there was, by the end, I think it was in second quarter.
Is any diagnosis today? Is he right or what? Do you know? Because I'm hearing
Yeah?
I'm hearing there might be a bit of a lingering issue.
Oh, really?
Is it? I'm only hearing it. I don't know. I'm asking you, actually.
No, I think he'd be right. Yeah. He may not play this week, but it won't be. It's nothing serious.
Were you sick and tired of seeing the ball go onto your forward line? Only went in 30 times.
Oh, no.
And Michael Johnson...
Getting it?
Do you know the two biggest possession winners on the weekend?
The two key defenders,
were the
mate.
key defenders.
Yeah.
That would be a AFL first, wouldn't it?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. They've got a lot of possessions, though.
How does that happen?
He kicked the goal too, I think, McFarlane.
Yeah, how does that happen? You're bringing players up the ground...
No height, Robbo.
But you had Joe, but were you dragging them up? Joe, not Joe.
No, we had the first half. They are very good at getting a number back.
Yep.
So they get a number back, and we thought we'll take them on early, and our spare was probably more effective than theirs. We thought, but it was just almost like a tidal wave coming. Yeah, I knew it was going to come at some stage, and when it came, it came. Yeah, players just with their care. Not caring as much as chucking it inside 50.
Under pressure.
Yeah, just tired, under pressure, everything.
But when you got a small forward line, you got to be so much more precise. I mean, you can't. You got McFarlane and Johnson, regardless if we got a man or not. It's hard to kick it 1-on-1 to Johnson versus Winderlick or McFarlane versus Joe Watson. They're just not.
McFarlane and Johnson versus Winderlick.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk tagging, and from each angle. First, from the point of view of the tagger, how many free kicks is too many when you send the man out? You send McCaffrey out to Cochin, he gives away 5 free kicks. Is there a tipping point in there somewhere where you go,
I think it's more early in the game, and I don't know McCaffrey's mindset, but I suspect he goes out and he says, "Well, I'm going to test the umpires," because you're not testing anywhere else. You're testing the umpires. So, and I think he got away with it. And he kept on doing it.
So he had 5 free kicks paid against him. These are each of them in sequence.
I think they were reasonably late from memory, though, weren't they? I mean, I don't remember a lot early, and I think that's maybe, and I don't know.
He's obviously got away with it previous weeks, and someone's sort of brought it to attention, and they said, "Oh, well, he's breaking the rules. We've got to give a free kick against him."
But they didn't bomb it early in the game.
Nah, not early in the game.
No way. They were on their own.
Yeah.
As a concept of tagging, did you like seeing what was going on? I mean, I don't know if you watch the game because you're flying to Perth. Did you like what you were seeing, Roosy?
Well, I think the blame's sort of gone on McCaffrey a bit. I don't blame McCaffrey. There's an umpire out in the field and you're assigned a task to do. Clearly the task he was assigned was to stop Trent Cotchin from getting the football. I don't think Trent Cotchin got the help, and Damien Hardwick can't say it, but I don't think, that he got the help that he should have got. But that's not McCaffrey's fault. You know, I mean, McCaffrey's got a job to do and good luck. And I'm sure Cotchin would say the same thing, But
it's been going for years, like Ling used to do it. The little captain of the Swans.
Yeah, Kirky.
Yeah, they all did it. Like, everyone's done it. Crowley does it, but...
What about the concept of players not watching the ball and facing? I mean...
That's been going on too.
I know, but do you guys classify that under the spirit of the game, or is just...
But I think it's a free kick, though. Pay the free kick, Robbo.
Yeah.
If I'm the coach of a player and I go in at quarter time and he's giving away 5 first quarter free kicks and he keeps doing it, well, he won't be playing the next week. So I guess that's what I'm saying. The job is there. The coach doesn't go up and say to the player, "Look, you got to grab him. You got to wrap your arms around him." Yeah, you leave that up to the player as to how they're going to do it, Bomber. But if it's 5 free kicks, Jared, in the first quarter, you wouldn't be happy at all with that.
So the umpires are going to just pay free kicks and it'll sort itself out. There's once upon a time, Lingy had he used to put people in the vice.
Yeah, and then they outlawed that, I think.
They outlawed that.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Not moving anywhere.
I don't disagree with you, Robbo, but there's an officiating umpire, and I think McCaffrey's copped a bit of heat, and I just think that's a bit unfair because... he's going out, he's asked to do a job, he's asked to play on a terrific player, and at the end of the day, he's done the job.
But we can't allow that to happen because you know what's happening in under 12s and under 10s and under 14s? Umpires, coaches are going out and sending under 12s,
pinching each other last year and all that. What are they doing now? Nothing.
Bomber, they're tagging in under 12s. In under 12 football games, coaches are tagging.
He might get drafted.
That's not good. Bomber, that's not good, and you know it's not good.
It depends on your definition of tagging, because a defender a forward has a defender on them every week.
All the time.
All the time. So if you're a midfielder, I don't think there's anything wrong with having an opponent, providing that opponent plays within the spirit and laws of the game.
So what can teammates do? What can Richmond's teammates do for Cochin?
Block him. Don't let him get to him. That's what... Yeah.
And the little wrap, what drives Taggers mad, it's a little wrap around handball. If you want to drive a, and if Cochin go to the goal square,
and then
take a
him
kick
out,
in,
and then take him
take
out
a
anyway.
kick in, whack it on your foot, play on. There's a possession that drives Taggers crazy. So you get 5 or 6 little cheap ones, and then it's amazing how that loosens up your own performance, as in Cochin's performance or whoever it might be. I mean, they're not really great possessions, but it has a significant bearing on both both players.
Yep. Well, good luck. See if we can string 2 wins together.
A bit grumpy tonight, aren't you? A bit tired.
Not as grumpy as you.
No,
I watched the
I'm not
first segment. You reckon the game's finished, gone.
You were going to swear then.
Bomber and Roos.
I am tired.
You are tired. Tonight on the couch, Kevin.